talk about a lot of Fallout shit. And I'm keeping in the theme of the antagonists. And today we're doing what is probably my favorite of all of the antagonists.
Just gush, my friend, do it.
We're doing the one and the only Kaiser. Now, I have some things...
Hold on, before you start, how come you don't have a Legion flag on your wall if you like Kaiser so much?
I was actually just about to tell the story.
Alright, fine, do it.
I have the NCR flag here. I did recently, actually like the day after I got back from visiting you, I bought 2 flags. I bought the Kaiser's Legion's flag and the Galactic News Network flag.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I thought that would be nice to have with the setup. It would be thematic and fucking here and there and whatever. They just shipped it out yesterday.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I don't have it. I have something else that I'm going to show off when we're done with lore. But do not get it wrong. It'll always be true to Kaiser. Always. It's just... it's not right for the Wasteland, but it makes the most sense that it would win to me. And... yeah. Goddamn is Kaiser not interesting.
Yeah. Interesting people. A lot of them bad people, but bad people can be interesting.
Yeah.
Just as interesting as good people. And I think that Kaiser is a really interesting figure. And honestly, I think Joshua Graham is more interesting, but let's get into it.
Yeah, I might do, when we're done with this, I might do the DLC bad guys.
Cool.
Kaiser, born Edward Sallow, is the leader, dictator, and co-founder of Kaiser's Legion in 2281, worshipped by legionaries as the self-proclaimed son of Mars. A former member of the Followers of the Apocalypse and an ex-citizen of the NCR. Since subjugating the desolate region of the Grand Canyon in 2247, he has since forged his legion of 87 tribes, assimilated or exterminated them. From the former 4 states Commonwealth, the militaristic might, Kaiser's Legion achieved completely pacified the lands that the Legion occupied, but safe roads were only the first step to fully realizing a permanent Legion that could continue after his rule. The next great step was to expand westward, to acquire a real Rome, in the form of New Vegas, that could be based of his new empire. But before they could continue westward, Kaiser and his followers must deal with the new California Republic, a formidable military power that Kaiser sees as his first worthy opponent. So all of my lore I get off of fallout.fandom.com. The voice actor is John Doman, which I actually don't know him from anything else other than...
Nor do I.
A political commercial. Really? Right here, he was in The Wire. I don't know what show that is. He played the Pope in a show in Borgaya. And he's apparently Carmine Falcone in Gotham, which I had no fucking clue. Cool.
Yeah.
He was in a couple HBO series. He was in Oz, which, again, I never watched. I just remember someone telling me Oz had a lot of rape in it.
Like The Wizard of?
No, it's... I don't know. It's about prison. But...
Imagine if The Wizard of Oz had a ton of just sexual misconduct.
There's a scene where they run through the poppies that's supposed to be like them getting roofied.
You know what?
I just rewatched The Wizard of Oz, actually, when I was home for Thanksgiving. We were sitting there watching it, and I was just like, ba-bow. And the woman who played the Wicked Witch of the West played the Wicked Witch of the West until she died. Like, this is a quick tangent. There's a lost episode of Sesame Street because she came on the show to show kids that the Wicked Witch wasn't that scary. And mind you, this is back in the time where, like, when The Wizard of Oz came on TV, everybody ran home to watch it. Like in the 80s, 70s, 80s. And she went on the show to show kids that the Wicked Witch wasn't that scary, and it scared kids. So they, like, never showed the episode. So it exists in some manner, but it was, like, lost for a really long time. But back to Kaiser. All right. An educated and highly intelligent man, Kaiser is infamous as the most dangerous enemy of the NCR. That the NCR has ever faced. Inside the Legion, he is respected for his charisma as well as his brutality. These traits are the main reason such a large, sprawling organization hasn't collapsed into a slurry of small infighting factions. But despite the grand persona Kaiser has created for himself, he also has a less graceful side. If confronted with his past mistakes, or if he feels that he is not capable, he's not in complete control of a situation, Kaiser will reveal his true nature as that of a prideful help me. How do you say this?
Megalomaniac.
No. Fucking, are you on the thing with me or no?
Yeah, but I lost track.
He has a ton of megalomania and is a bully with a fragile ego and a hair-triggered temper and act out in particular denial and anguish or childish spite.
Megalomaniacal.
That's a fucking word and a half. That's a fucking $3 word.
Sucks.
Yeah, fuck that word. I'm normally a big fan of words like that, but that just... Jesus, making me look bad on my own show. Now in 2281, Kaiser looms in the field base / headquarters of Fortification Hill, waiting to cross the Colorado River to avenge his humiliation at the first battle of Hoover Dam and finally annex New Vegas as the capital of his empire that he truly deserves. He feels he truly deserves. I just want to point out that he just wants New Vegas because fuck you.
Yeah.
I love that.
I want this.
Yeah, it's very much a little kid going, that's my toy. You're not even playing with it. Well, now I want it. I love that.
Now I want it.
Kaiser is playing with his cards more cautiously this time and will not give the order of Lanius to attack the dam until he can unearth the contents of the vault sealed beneath his base in the Mojave. Kaiser also needs to neutralize House, attempt to forge an alliance with the Boomers, the Great Khans, and the White Glove Society, as well as destroy the Mojave Brotherhood of Steel, and attempt to assassinate President Kimball. Two factors have halted his progress. Firstly, a debilitating brain tumor that prevents him from fully administrating to the day-to-day operations of the Legion, and secondly, his interest in reports of a resourceful courier whose ambiguous allegiances could either be a problem or potentially a boon to his efforts.
You know what I think is so fun about that?
What's that?
You know what? The biggest problems on Caesar's plate is the tumor destroying his brain and your dumbass.
And I think I don't know if this was done on purpose, but I like I don't want to say duality, but I like and I don't think it's irony, but you were shot in the brain and left for dead. And he's pretty much shot in the head and is left for dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not like, he's, I guess, metaphorically shot. Like, he's fucking...
Yeah, his days are numbered. He's on his way out.
I mean, he's also, how old is he? He's also 55.
In the Wasteland?
Yeah, there's right here on the wiki, it says he's 55. He's also level 30. Born in 2226 near the Boneyard as Edward Sallow, he was once a citizen of the NCR. Following the death of his father at the hands of raiders in 2228, his mother sought the protection of the followers of the apocalypse. While she worked for the followers, cooking and cleaning in the library, the young Edward learned how to read and started taking courses provided by the organization free of charge. Thought to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste, Sallow was a student of uneven quality. Though he was highly intelligent, his success in scientific pursuits were only proportional to his interest in the given subject. Nor was he particularly popular among his peers, due to his bad temper and narcissistic attitude. For Sallow, the followers were never an inspiring example. Their devotion to scholarship too stifling, their mission of enlightenment too naive. In 2246, the 20-year-old Sallow was an anthropologist and linguist. He was an anthropologist and a linguist. That's another reason why I like Kaiser, because you talk to him and he doesn't sound like a bumbling wasteland moron. Yeah. He knows what he's saying. To benefit from his talents, the followers sent him east towards the Grand Canyon on his first expedition. Accompanied by a physician named Bill Calhoun and 7 others. He was tasked with learning the dialects of the tribes inhabiting the region. On the way to the canyon, he and his companions happened upon a cache of historical books. The most significant to Sallow were on ancient Rome, including the history of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. And I didn't know Julius Caesar had a first name. I thought that was his first name. Gaius?
Wait, where is that?
And Gaius, Gaius.
Yeah, that's Gaius.
Gaius, Julius Caesar's own Commentare di Bello Galacio. I don't know. You would think, whatever. He studied the books rigorously for 2 weeks. Already inspired him to be more, but not yet aware of their coming greater significance. Prior to the arrival in the Grand Canyon, they met with Joshua Graham, a Mormon missionary and tribal specialist from New Canaan. Already an accomplished scholar of dialects, Graham was supposed to teach Sallow about the local languages. But before that could take place, the Blackfoot tribe captured 3 scholars for ransom. While Sallow believed the tribe did this for ransom, it's weird that's written like that, Graham would later attribute the change to the tribe's relationship with the party to a mistranslation. So he knew Graham for a long fucking time.
Yeah, before he even threw him into the Grand Canyon on fire.
Yeah.
He was Lannius.
He was the first legate. I mean, I don't know if he was the first legate, but he was the legate before Lannius.
Yeah, he was the fucking brutal driving force behind the Legion.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Caesar was calling the shots, but he was the guy ordering the decapitations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the dude's motto is, we can't expect God to do all the work. Like, come on!
I know. I just fucking... Graham is one of the most interesting characters in all of Fallout.
Yeah.
We've done an episode on him before.
Nope.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't.
We haven't?
We haven't done an episode on Joshua Graham.
We definitely have.
Nope. You know what would be a really good way to check?
Shut up.
Yeah. So, Kaiser's rise to power, the tribe was a sorry sight. Weak and insignificant. Worse for the hostages, the Blackfoot were at war with 7 other tribes. They were heavily outnumbered, and Sallow recognized their defeat and subsequent demise was only a matter of time. Unwilling to sink with them, Sallow decided to take certain steps. A lot of S's right there. Objections from fellow follower Calhoun went unheard. After witnessing their lack of knowledge Firsthand, Sallow stepped in to teach the tribes how to properly maintain their firearms, how to properly shoot targets, and how to reload ammunition. The next step was teaching them how to manufacture explosives and drilling in small unit tactics. Imagine going to the zoo and going to the monkey cage and being like, "Here's C4, you fucking orangutan." Like, all based on books Kaiser read as a young boy. He quickly...
What book did he read? The Anarchist Cookbook?
Did you ever read the Anarchist Cookbook?
I have not.
It's really good for 3 chapters, then they just said, fuck it. You can tell they just stopped caring. Someone gave me a PDF of it well back in the day. He quickly impressed them enough to the point where he was made their acting war chief. Once they were ready, Sallow led them against the Ridgers?
Ridgers.
Mm-hmm.
Those of the Ridgers.
The Ridgers, their weakest enemy. Divide it impera, to divide and conquer. Did I say that correctly? Divide it impera? When the tribe... I should learn Latin. That's just something that I could see myself doing.
Yeah, like,
just
as,
like...
would really, like... I feel like you would really find a good, like, deep dive into Latin. Just, like... And you know what? You would speak it all the time just because it's a dead language.
Yeah, just because, fuck you. Like, here's this thing that I know. I think it'd be a good party trick, too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be fun to be like, haha. Like, I want to learn one song on the piano at, like, a concert level. Mm-hmm. Just so I can fucking,
so
like...
Go like...
Yeah, I can sit down and pretend like I'm John Legend for like 3-4 minutes, and then someone's like, "Dude, you gotta play another song." I'm like, "Nah, it's all right." Like, I only know one song. So he wanted to divide and conquer. When the tribes refused to surrender, he ordered every man, woman, and child killed. No exceptions to be made. The Blackfoot moved on under Caesar's lead, surrounded by the Kababs? Kababs? Yeah. The Kababs tribe.
Yeah.
Upon their refusal to surrender, Sallow took their envoy to the ruins of the Ridgers village. The piles of corpses were a shocking sight to the tribesmen who knew only tribal strife, played at war with the occasional raid, raping, and pillaging. You know, if you can fit it in on a Tuesday.
Yeah, this was just like a little bit on the side.
Yeah. You know, after dinner, we're a little full, go for a walk, maybe rape and pillage a bit.
For dessert.
Yeah. This was total warfare. And as its most destructive and barbaric state. The concept of total warfare was entirely new and terrifying type of conflict that the tribes had never encountered before. Such brutality would form the core of the Legion's tactics and philosophy. He said, "Fuck around and find out."
He really did.
God damn, is that fucking
He
cool.
was like, you know what you can do? Rape, murder, and pillage. And people are like, are we allowed to do that? And he was like, yes!
I could just picture him like, we need to rape, murder, and pillage. Let me call my mom quick.
It's like, do we really want to be, like, doing that, guys? I mean, what else can we do?
Like, I don't want you to think that I'm, like, getting excited about rape, murder, and pillage. What I'm getting excited about is, like, how well thought this is. And
yeah.
How he's just...
Because New Vegas's writing is great.
Yeah, and how he just kind of is like the idea of this is so up its own ass, but like in the best way possible. He's quite literally, this is what I want, and I'm gonna go get it, and I don't give a fuck who I hurt.
Yeah. I'm gonna really play out this fantasy because I read a kid's book about Rome.
Yeah. Dude, I wanted to talk about this beforehand, but we got sidetracked with dicks. There's Wasteland Weekend in the actual Mojave, right? And as far as I know, there's always a group that goes dressed up like the Legion. And there's
yeah,
pictures.
Yeah, you're right.
I might put a picture
that.
up. I might put a picture up if I could find a good one. And there's a dude who dresses up like Kaiser. And, like, part of me wants to go there in, like, this wasteland attire and go to the guy who plays Kaiser and, like, kneel in front of him and be like, Aoi, true to Kaiser, my lord, any bidding that you need done will be done in the name of Kaiser. And, like, really fucking, like, play into the role play, like, the RP of it.
Mm-hmm. I love RP.
Oh, I fucking love the Legion. It's so fucking neat. All right. The Kebabs promptly surrendered rather than suffer the same fate. Then the Federales.
No, I don't know. Where are we? The Fredonians.
Fedorians?
Fredorians.
Fredorians? The lady? Then the remaining tribes. Kaiser was actually aware that the root cause of the problem was tribal identities, leading to the conflict and preventing any substantial recovery. He knew what had to be done. He had to erase all traces of tribal identity and replace them with a single monolithic culture. A year later, in 2247, when his confederation was large enough, Sallow crowned himself as Kaiser, leader of the great tribe, the Legion. He deliberately patterned it after the Roman Empire. One of the reasons was that ancient European culture was completely foreign, alien to the ignorant tribals. He was ignorant to the tribals he was subjugating. Kaiser used the commentary as a blueprint. I like how Latin words end with two eyes. It's just a stylish thing that I like. After all, which illiterate tribal would know that he was not the original Kaiser and his Rome was merely a copy of a civilization long gone. Second, he considered Rome's highly militarized autocracy? Autocracy? What does that word mean exactly?
Ruled by an autocrat.
What is an autocrat? You can't use the word in the definition.
I did my best. Basically like a dictatorship sort of thing.
Okay. He considered Rome's highly militarized, say it one more time? Autocracy? Mm-hmm. Autocracy, adept at integrating captured cultures, the perfect template for a society that could adapt to the challenge of the post-apocalyptic world and thrive. Institution, prosperity, and peace. The new Pax Romana. The Legion would be nationalist, imperialist, totalitarian, completely humongous creature that would focus on long-term stability at all costs. I think there's also something kind of noble about shut the fuck up, we're doing it this way. That being said, I understand where shut the fuck up, we're doing it this way can be wrong. A lot of Rome
especially
fell.
When you're burning people at the stake.
Yeah, but like also you could say whatever you want about the Legion. They put numbers on the board.
They really got shit done.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Say what you want about him. Kaiser owns everything from Denver to New Vegas.
And that's what we call opulence.
He soon began putting his words into practice. Calhoun was sent away to the NCR as a messenger to warn them against interfering, with Kaiser's plans, while Calhoun was sent back to the followers to inform them of what he was doing. The other 7 members of the expedition were murdered on the self-proclaimed emperor's orders. The newly christened Kaiser formed his legion out of the tribes that had either been conquered or had chosen to capture to avoid total destruction. Joshua Graham would, however, ingrain himself in the Legion as Kaiser's right-hand man, becoming the Legion's first legate. In time becoming known as Malpus Legat. Ooh, I didn't know that he had a different fucking name. Ooh. In the decades that followed, the Legion secured holding in both Utah and Colorado, while the entirety of Arizona and New Mexico were brought under the control were brought under its control. Tribes were forcibly assimilated into the Legion, where cities and their inhabitants lived on as subjects of the Legion. Since 2250, Kaiser has styled himself as the son of Mars, divinely ordained to subject the world to his will, and 5 years later he established the first capital in the ruins of Flagstaff. Real quick,
he really did a join or die kind of scenario.
Yeah. Flagstaff, Arizona. Just want to double check. I thought that was... Hold on a
Apparently
fucking second.
Flagstaff, Arizona is beautiful.
It's mentioned in the Wastelanders update. Get the fuck out of here. Maybe I'll check it out one day. I don't know. By 2270...
I just uninstalled Fallout 76.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had to make room for transphobic future game.
You know, it's one image.
I know. So far. I'm just fucking with you. Please continue. I'm engrossed in the Legion.
By 2274, he had conquered most of the tribes of Arizona, Colorado up to Denver, New Mexico, and southeastern Utah, and became known as the Conqueror of 86 tribes, whose legion had never met with any serious defeat until their confrontation with the NCR at the First Battle of Hoover Dam.
And that's its own whole thing.
God damn, do I love Kaiser. He's so fucking interesting.
It's just so well written.
The Republic has the dubious distinction of being recognized by Kaiser as this is the war with the NCR. The Republic has a dubious distinction of being recognized by Kaiser as a worthy adversary, and conflict with the NCR was inevitable. For Kaiser, this was more than amnesty or petty hatred. He sees himself as Kaiser returning from his conquest of Gaul, and the NCR as a corrupt Roman Senate. A textbook example of Hegelian dialect. What does that say?
I am going to look it up. Never heard that word before.
Helganism.
The philosophy which could be summed up by the dictum that the rational alone is real, which means that all reality is capable of being expressed in rational categories. The goal was to reduce reality to a more synthetic unity within the system of absolute idealism. It was made by G.W.F. Hegel.
Hegelian dialectics, where the thesis and antithesis conflict, creating a synthesis when the conflict is resolved. What does that mean exactly?
I don't know.
That's like when yes and no come together, you get a maybe, kinda. Like, what?
Hold on, let me read it and then try to process it with my brain.
Oh, hold on. When the Legion conquers the NCR, it will be transformed from a republic crippled by bureaucracy, corruption, and gridlock into a highly efficient military dictatorship. The Legion will become a standing army protecting all of the citizens of the new empire and absolute power of its dictator.
Basically, he was flipping the system on its head.
He's lawful evil.
Yes.
That's lawful evil.
Most definitely lawful.
That's lawful evil. It makes the most, like, not that it makes sense, but that makes the most sense to explain it. It's lawful evil. I'm on your side as long as you're on my side.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
if you're not on my side, fuck you.
Yeah. You and your family are getting put on crosses.
Yeah.
Of course, the new California Republic was not willing to roll over and surrender. Following a series of skirmishes and smaller battles, most notably the destruction of Fort Aradesh out east. Hold on, I didn't even know about Fort Aradesh.
You didn't know about Fort Aradesh?
You did?
No.
Ulysses brings it up in Lonesome Road. What the fuck? I didn't even know about Fort Aradesh. Aradesh is Tandy's dad.
Yeah.
There's actually when you ask Kaiser why he hates, we'll get right back on why he hates the NCR. He says that the NCR was started by a man and his daughter and a couple other people at Shady Sands. And then when Aradesh, when the man dies, his daughter becomes president for over 50 years. And that does not sound like a democracy. So, like... Okay, so they destroyed Fort Aradesh out east. The Legion forced a confrontation. In 2277, the Legion faced the NCR at Hoover Dam in what became known as the First Battle of Hoover Dam. Discovered by Ulysses, Fumentari, a Fumentaris. I guess that's plural for Fumentari.
Yeah.
The dam was a symbolic Rubicon. At the time, Caesar's 68 reformed tribes under the command of Joshua Graham marched against the NCR garrison at Hoover Dam in an attempt to take a strategic asset and river crossing. However, Graham's elite troops were drawn into the trap laid by Chief Hanlon of the New California Republic Rangers. As General Lee Oliver's soldiers held the line, Rangers and Army sharpshooters targeted their commanders, primarily Centurions and Decanti, sowing chaos amongst the common legionary. The legate, unable to adapt to new strategies in combat, ordered his elite forces to punch through and pursue Rangers, decimating his officers. The Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters executed a tactical retreat into Boulder City. Elements of the Army and Rangers kept the Legion engaged long enough to allow the most experienced legionary to enter the city. When they did, the Republic forces pulled out of the city. Once most of them were safe, soldiers and Rangers trapped behind Legion lines had to be abandoned. They triggered explosive, packed into the buildings in advance. Chief Hanlon's plan went off without a hitch. The exploding buildings acted as a giant fragmentation bomb, killing and maiming most of the legionary and leaving the rest in a state of shock, effectively crippling their offensive. The Army and Rangers followed the detonation attack with a counterattack, pushing back and eventually routing the Legion forces and forcing the Malpass Legate to retreat from the Cam back to the east of the Colorado River. Flanking attacks at Camp Gulf and other camps in the Mojave were simply repulsed.
Like, probably pushed back.
I never heard repulse used as pushback. I always heard it as like, ugh. You know what I mean?
Like, ugh.
Yeah. The Malpass Legate returned to Kaiser in shame to demonstrate that failure is not tolerated even at the highest ranks. Kaiser ordered Graham to be burned alive. The former legate was covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon. This was the worst defeat in the Legion's history. Graham was replaced by Legate Lennius, who embarked on a campaign. Can you look up what Malpass means?
Sure.
Because Lennius means butcher. Graham was replaced by Legate Lennius, who embarked on a campaign of expansion eastward to subjugate further tribes for the Legion and gather forces for another confrontation with the Republic. Over the next 4 years, Kaiser rebuilt his army with 14 newly assimilated tribes, creating the finest possible blade with which to cleave through the Republic. The Legion's increasing power was accompanied by a noticeable...
General of the Badlands.
Really?
Yeah, Malpais roughly translates to Badlands. And when it's like used in a Roman context, it means Badlands General.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's so fucking cool. the 14 newly assimilated tribes crafting the finest possible blade in which to cleave through the Republic. The Legion's increasing power was accompanied by a noticeable decline in Kaiser's health. Once healthy, his face became sunken and sickly, his nature more reclusive. But the worst were the headaches, increasing in strength and frequency, affecting his ability to lead. Although they remained silent, the decline was visible to his officers, but Kaiser denied these problems, lashing out at any inquiries. The first hint of what might have been the problem appeared only a couple months prior to the infrequent headaches. The headaches recurred increasingly along with blanking out mid-conversation. The most recent symptom to occur is Kaiser's left leg stiffing and only being able to drag. While Kaiser is untrained to diagnose himself, he figured that he's likely suffering from a brain tumor, but defers to a professional opinion upon diagnosis.
To, kind of assume that you have a brain tumor is a pretty educated guess.
Yeah, this motherfucker was smarter than a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's why he was able to create and rule the biggest tribe in Wasteland history.
As I'm reading this and going through this and talking about as we're about to get into the philosophy of Kaiser, but into this, he kind of reminds me of a post-apocalyptic ancient Roman Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's incredibly smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he wants, but he's evil.
He's pretty fucking evil,
He's that's why I love Kaiser, because he's like an evil Batman. So this is from Joshua Sawyer. He goes, a case can be made that Kaiser should have an evil or very evil alignment, but he also exists in a bubble that insulates him from what he's doing. Kaiser does what he does because he feels that it is contributing to a better society.
What's his official alignment?
I will check quick. Probably evil. His karma's neutral. Huh.
That makes sense.
Huh. Maybe Ron Goldman's karma's neutral. Whatever. We can get into that later.
The fuck he is.
The bedrock of Kaiser's philosophy is that service to the state is not just the highest virtue, it is the only virtue. Kaiser is critical of the NCR society as its leaders care not for the greater good. This is contrary to Kaiser's belief that an individual has no value beyond his utility to the state, whether as an instrument of war or production. He views the Great War of 2077 as a chance for humanity to start over and aims to unify humanity under one banner or eliminate them should they refuse. Reading through old world books, Kaiser has gained the knowledge of the old glory of Imperial Rome and has used the ignorance of his followers to claim that Kaiser, the son of Mars, the god of war, and not that he is the son of Mars, the god of war, and not Edward Sallow, former follower of the apocalypse. Aside from total military defeat, Kaiser's greatest fear is being exposed as a fraud. Most members of the Legion, excluding some of the most trusted ones, are oblivious to the fact that the Legion's culture is based on a book about ancient Rome. They believe that all of the customs enforced by Kaiser were dictated by Mars himself. Can you do me a favor quick?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back to that book that he based it on and send me a link to someone who is selling it?
The commentary?
Whatever book, yeah. Do a private seller. Don't go on Amazon. Please. Those who claim otherwise are viewed as the ultimate blasphemers? I know the word, I just don't know how to pronounce it. And are likely to be executed. While some of the newly captured slaves are skeptical, they don't tend to be vocal about it. And their children are taken away from their parents and raised by Kaiser's priestesses. Secretly, Kaiser still doesn't feel like a real Roman Empire with a loose nation of savages. He thinks of himself as merely a barbaric king of the Gallus. Kaiser desires two things, a Carthage and a Rome. By seizing New Vegas, Kaiser felt that he would finally be able to elevate his legion to a legitimate nation by giving it its own Rome. By destroying the NCR, Kaiser's Carthage, transforming them from a nomadic army into a true empire, militaristic, imperialistic, autocracy, culture. I said this, it's humongous, it's a ruler, understated power, a Pax Romana, which would prevent humanity from ever falling again. In his views, the NCR does not have a long-term solution to the problems of the wasteland. The bombs had reset humanity's progress and believed the time had come to rebuild it into something new. He argues that the NCR is weakened by its democracy, and that it was at its strongest when it was under the dominating rule of the second president, Tandy, whose popularity was such that she remained leader of the NCR for most of her life until the death, as the Senate would never dare oppose her. He was taught to venerate her as a child and observe that she was ultimately more of a queen than an elected official, and it was a similar centralized power that a new civilization needs. In the eyes of Kaiser, the NCR came after Tandy's presidency. Presidency had been blighted with greed and widespread corruption because of the... Jesus fucking Christ, these words. Oh my God. How do you say this? Oligarchy?
Oligarchical, probably.
Oligarchical?
Oligarchical.
Oligarchical?
No.
Say it again.
Garky.
Where you say? Oh, garchical. Okay. Oligarchical. Control. Thank you. This has been Hooked on Phonics.
Control of the people with the money have the control.
Oh, the U.S.
Yes. The U.S. is an oligarchy.
Cool. I mean, not, you know what I mean. In the eyes of Kaiser, the NCR came after Tandy's presidency had been blighted with greed and widespread corruption because of the oligarchical control of politicians and the Brahmin barons looking out for only their interests instead of the greater good of its citizens. Kaiser is simply quicken the demise of the once victorious NCR. Kaiser also regards self-sacrifice as a necessary part of rebuilding civilization, as evidenced by the fact that he refuses the very notion of using the Securitrons hidden beneath the bunker under the camp. Kaiser rejects allowing his legion to use advanced technologies, believing that life must be kept hard and filled with sacrifice in order to strengthen humanity. He has similarly kept his people ignorant to mankind's former knowledge of medical science, allowing his legion to get by primitive healing powders, while he himself keeps an autodoc in his tent for both personal use as well as a gift to anyone Kaiser favors. Similarly, drugs and alcohol are completely forbidden from being used by legionaries. So most legionaries must make do with previous mentioned healing powders, bitter drink, or conducting new remedies like Hydra, all with the caveat that the pain remains. I'm not going to go into so much of what the player does and the effects on him. I'm kind of just here for what Kaiser does.
Yeah, I don't care about what the courier does with Kaiser. Except, maybe that thing where you can, shoot him in the dome.
So here, these are just the notes quick. Members of the Legion pronounce Caesar's name as Kaiser, a post-classical Latin pronunciation, emphasizing the diphthong? D-I-P-H-T-H-O-N-G. Diphthong.
Diphthong.
Diphthong?
What the fuck is that?
Legionaries who knew him...
It's the A-E sound, like aether.
Oh, okay. Legionaries who knew him early in the Legion's history, as well as most other Wastelanders, pronounce it as the anglicized. I've never seen the word anglicized written out.
It just means
White.
The white people version.
Yeah, I've never seen it written out. Or Caesar.
You know, like the salad.
Kaiser holds some level of respect for Aaron Kimball, calling him a man of potential. He believes that Kimball would have been more powerful and had more control over the NCR if he had seized power instead of being elected. If the player character pickpockets Kaiser while detected, he will automatically turn hostile and his inventory doesn't open. If Kaiser dies, his body will never disappear.
I saw that. That was very interesting.
Punching or shooting Kaiser's body after he dies makes the Legion turn hostile.
Because you're desecrating a body.
Yeah. If Kaiser turns hostile, he appears to not have an attacking expression and will attack with the expression on his face as if he wasn't angry because he's a fucking sociopath.
Just punching with a big old shit-eating grin.
Yeah. That's like in the first Max Payne. Max Payne has a smile on his face the whole game.
Because he's a bad person.
John Gonzalez wrote Caesar.
He wrote the dialogue for Caesar, but Graham actually designed him.
Yes.
Or Sawyer designed him.
Yes. Caesar possesses a number of parallels to his historical counterpart. For example, the historical Kaiser actually suffered from a condition similar to the one depicted in the game. He had headaches, blackouts, and sometimes even seizures. Wow. In terms of appearance, Kaiser is balding and has an aquiline nose, a sign of nobility in ancient Rome. One of the things of note is Kaiser is 55 years old in 2281. The historical Julius Kaiser was assassinated at the age of 56 on March 15th, 44 BC.
So he's a better Caesar than Caesar.
Yeah.
He made it longer.
Metzger, the leader of the Slaver Guild in the Den, was initially named Kaiser.
Huh.
Romilius C. Julius Caesar. Romilius, I guess, and C. Julius Caesar claimed to be the descendant of the god Mars, just like Kaiser does in this game. That is Kaiser.
I am glad that I know more about Kaiser now.
Isn't he the fucking coolest?
He's kind of the man. I mean, the writing for him is just top tier in terms of New Vegas' writing, which is all really good. I wish that Bethesda cared this much about Fallout.
Yeah.
New Vegas 2, baby!
I hope that we'll get some better writing. I'll be the first one to say, I don't think 3 has the best writing in the world. I just like the world a lot. I think the world is more fun to be in than
3's claim to fame is the world building. New Vegas is the writing, and 4 is the actual technical mechanic, I feel like.
Yeah.
If they can put that together into one game that's set on the West Coast, it would be the game of the year. Like, quite literally.
Not even West Coast. Just put it together.
I want to see Colorado. I want to see Fallout Legion.
Yeah.
Set in the middle U.S. in the Rockies. It goes from the Rockies to Colorado. Or to like, Dogtown is like the main big city.
I'm like half with you, half not.
Yeah.
Hold on, before we get into this idea, there's 2 things I want to do. One, do you have anything you want to say about Kaiser before I end lore?
No, but he is a bastard, and I love him for it.
Cool, if you want to hear this conversation, come watch the full episode. Ba-da-ba-bow!